Hey everyone, it's Victor from Social Firestarter. Today I want to go back to talking about content again. So I want to describe particularly some spammy tactics that some marketers like to use and why you should avoid them and how you can prevent yourself from basically producing spammy content on your law firm's website. So there's all sorts of reasons why you want to focus on the quality of the content of your website. And I've also described a little bit of this before in previous videos. For example, I did one on keyword cannibalization. There's a few different ways to build the pages of your website that I've definitely seen cause issues with keyword cannibalization. I've definitely fixed a numerous amount of law firm websites that had that type of issue and was preventing a lot of their ranks from showing. So definitely check that out if you haven't. But in this video, I want to get specific about the different things that you want to avoid doing with the pages of your law firm's site. So with the pages that you build on there, one of the biggest things about this, honestly, is the distinction of who is writing the content. So I always recommend for you to find a decent writer, like a legal writer, somebody that has experience writing about legal terminology. That's a big one, just so that they have that type of vocabulary, because there's a whole bunch of keywords or just phrases, words, and little bits that have to be included in your page, which kind of can't be done unless you have somebody that can write in that slightly more technical type of way. So obviously that doesn't mean make your website hard to read, but you do have to have somebody that knows what they're writing about, or you can also end up with issues with things not being factually correct, like with the law. So another side of that, if you were to get an SEO marketer to do your content, so let's say you made me write the content for your law firm's website, maybe all the keywords would be in there and a lot of the phrases that need to be in there, but honestly the quality would be way lower. The difference would be pretty large in my opinion, because the way that I write is just not really I don't know all the different vocabulary. I don't know all the little bits and details about the law like an attorney would, or like an experienced legal writer would. So there's a very big difference as to the results that you can get with those types of pages. Because if you just ask an SEO marketer to do the page for you, it's on one hand, it's not our forte. On another hand, you'll probably end up with some rushed content, some pages that were basically built just to be built, which kind of leads into the next area that I want to talk about here. Is if you're thinking about the pages that you're going to build on your law firm's website, you should be thinking about it like ahead of time. You should be planning it out, strategizing what type of topics you're going to cover and how you're going to keep coming up with new topics in the future. If you don't do this, and it's such a simple setup type of thing to do, but if you're not putting that much effort into the content that ends up on your law firm site, there's a good chance that you're going to end up with a lot of pages that are, again, built just to be built, and they don't fulfill as much of a valuable resource. Like, they're not as valuable as if you had somebody that's actually taking like a lot of effort into producing that content. So let me go into, building pages just to be built. So another reason why a marketer might, put out a bunch of spammy pages on a law firm site, let's say they are trying to acquire a whole bunch of keywords or visibility on a whole bunch of keywords all at once. Now that's great, especially if you are targeting multiple locations, like if you're going after different neighborhoods, different cities, and you're providing content for those specific locations. You got to make sure that you actually do your due diligence with those pages, as in each different location that you write about, you have to actually do some research to know how to best answer those search queries. Because again, that content, it's got to be provided to somebody that's answering or asking a question of some sort. So if you can't look at that piece of content and tell yourself exactly who would benefit from it, there's a good chance that it should not be on your website. And something I want to mention here, you might think, well, a lot of the attorneys, they have really huge websites. They've got lots of pages, and mine is brand new. I got to do something to catch up. Well, sure, but you definitely don't want to rush the entire process, because and another thing that you should kind of mind is Google has to crawl a whole lot of websites. There's a lot of attorneys out there, a lot of businesses, just so much content on the internet that Google is constantly crawling over and over and over again. This takes up a lot of resources. Sure, you don't really get to hear about that side of their business, but they definitely try to make this more efficient on their end. And it can really actually harm you and harm your rankings, because if Google bot, the bot that's crawling on the pages, if Google bot decides that you have more pages than you need to, and it just stops crawling some of them, or even worse, it crawls your domain less frequently because of this, it's going to negatively affect your rankings. So that's just why you don't want to rush the entire process. Regarding that type of spammy tactic, definitely seen plenty of marketers do this, not just with attorney websites, all sorts of business websites out there. You can find this type of spammy tactic where it's basically like you take one landing page for one location that you may have previously built, and instead of creating a brand new one for a different location, what some marketers will do is actually grab the same page, copy paste the text, and just replace the cities, like the city mentions in there. Some of them, they might go a step further and switch around the words just a bit, just to make it so that it doesn't come up if you scan it through a duplicate content checker. But if you start reading through some of these pages, and they're all essentially saying the exact same thing, just duplicated for different locations, that's not really doing you any good. It's definitely going to lower the overall score of quality. Let's call it like a quality score. If you look at the quality of your domain and you're including all these crazy pages that don't have as much value, you're just bringing down the quality of your entire domain. Again, another thing that can hold down your rankings. So that's pretty much all I wanted to include in this video. I've definitely mentioned a few things that maybe somebody wants me to go further into. So if you have specific questions about what I mentioned, or if you want to see an example of something that I mentioned, I can definitely do that in a different video. So make sure to leave your comments down below, and I will catch everyone on the next one.